Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. We've got a slightly different show this week. We are once again talking to Jonathan Grassi, the managing director of Grabo, but we're doing it via Skype. He's not here, he's in Italy, and we are here in sunny Southampton, although it's not quite as warm as Italy. Jonathan, hello.
Hello, Greg. Hello, how are you doing? And hello to all the balloon fans around the world.
I'm doing absolutely fine, Jonathan. Thank you so much for doing this. I just
My pleasure.
really wanted to catch up with you because obviously we've had an interesting 6 months or so, and I remember Italy was sort of the first country that we started to see on the news over in this part of the world in Europe that was hit by the coronavirus. And then it followed on to everywhere else. And I really wanted to really talk to you about how the last 6 months has been for you. What's the journey been like? How was it initially when you had to lock down? How was it since you've come back? And what you see the future being, really. So that's all my questions right there in one. So do you want to?
It's a big chunky question, isn't it?
Take us through your story.
Okay, I'll try. So while you were describing the situation and asking the question, I thought, this has been a very, very peculiar 6 months. Probably the most particular time of my life, of anyone's life, probably. If you haven't seen the war or the Second World War or anything else, but so definitely. Very, very particular time that I would divide in three main phases, seeing it from my perspective in Italy. So at the initial stage, the COVID stage, let's say it was early January, late December, probably not even late December, it was already early January, and till mid-February, more or less, when we were watching the COVID span in China, and I felt pretty safe in Europe, and I felt pretty safe in Italy also. I felt that safe that we did 3 fairs in 3 different cities in 2 different countries, so Frankfurt, Nuremberg, and Birmingham. In all 3 fairs, I was very laid back, very relaxed, never wore a mask. I'd like to remind that there wasn't the necessity to wear a mask back at the beginning of 2020. So I was very laid back. I thought it was never going to hit us. I thought it was just going to stay in China, and I thought, it's the other side of the world. It's never going to get here. As so many other pandemics never happened in the Western world. You just have to think of the SARS in almost 20 years ago, the Zika, Ebola. Loads of big diseases didn't reach Europe. So I just thought that this time it would have been exactly the same, except that it didn't, because in March we were locked down. They found an Italian person who had COVID, so we were locked down, and we experienced COVID and lockdown as they did in China, and we were the first ones in Europe. And by that time, I was trying to keep extremely positive, extremely optimistic in seeing, like as I always do, because if we're all in the same position, it means it's a fair game. We all start from the same position, and who gets first, and who gets last gets in last. So always trying to keep a positive perspective and things, positive view and things. We actually were experiencing the whole COVID situation and being locked down. And so I spoke to many friends that I had across major UK countries, not just major European countries, Germany, France, the UK, obviously, Scandinavia, Holland, Spain, etc., trying to give support for as much as I could, because I was living COVID as a first liner. I was here. I was actually locked down when other people were still having a good time, and thinking that the world would have gone on as we knew it forever. So I spoke to colleagues, friends. I gave a couple of interviews to the BBC, and just to experience what was happening with the businesses in Italy. And so I started to feel a bit, shaken by the code. It was real.
Yeah.
It hit us. And now that I must say Italy, I don't know how, but managed to do a sufficiently good job with the lockdown or containing the virus, because the lockdown had severe economic damage, and it is going to have severe economic damage, especially in Italy. Now we're in the third part of the situation, and I see that we've come out of it, not completely, obviously, but we are in a very good position right now, in the sense that we have rising numbers of cases every day, but intensive care numbers are still very, very sticky.
Yeah.
So those are not going up, meaning that the virus is still there, it still exists, but it's not as aggressive as it used to be 6 months ago or 8 months ago. So we're in a cool position right now, and I see other countries such as the UK probably still belonging to that kind of acute, severe phase where there's still a lot of uncertainty and whatnot. And I say, to whoever is living a bad moment right now, just be safe, be secure, just follow the procedures, do whatever you have to do, wash your hands, and act responsibly. This will be over in a jiffy, really. Either because they're going to find a vaccine, or because it's just going to tone down, because the virus is going to become less aggressive. Obviously, we're going to have to learn to share the world with the virus. But in time, I think it'll all be a bad memory very soon, very soon. And the bright side of this, as we're all in it together, because we're all balloon maniacs and party fans, the business is good.
Yeah.
The business is doing very well for everyone. For everyone.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're doing well, but this, I wouldn't be happy and optimistic if it was just Grabo, which would be which would be something not realistic. We're all doing well. My competitors are doing well. My clients are doing well. And the business as a whole is growing.
Yeah.
And everybody, I'm not just saying this, it's everybody is experiencing a vertical growth, and people just want balloons.
Yeah.
Why do people want balloons? Why did the business not crash? Why is the business still going on in a very sound manner? Even if there is a financial crisis that probably hasn't hit us yet, but will gradually during the next 5 to 10 years. Well, I'm guessing because, party products, balloons and party products, it's not a major expense. It's not an investment. You're not buying a car. You're not buying a house, sending your kids to, to Eton or to college or to Oxford. You're not planning a huge trip. You, your wife, your 4 kids, not you 4 kids, but
2's enough.
2 is enough. Yeah, I'm sure. So it's not a big expense. You just increasing an average party expense by a few pounds or a few bucks for American friends, or a few euros for us. And who's going to block the world for a better party? No one.
Yeah.
You might say, well, you might say, I have a Vauxhall, I have a BM. I'll buy it next year because I still can keep mine for another year. It'll do fine. Or maybe I have to paint the house. I paint the house. I don't know how much money, but I need to paint the house. I'll do it next year. I can live with my house not being not being perfect right now. So this and other factors, international factors, really amount for a great business. And let's not forget that the business was overall booming before COVID. So it's just a natural consequence after a traumatic event. It's very difficult that things will just stay steady. They will either continue increasing in a even more vertical manner, or they'll just go down the tunnel because there's not the possibility to spend or invest in that type of business. And as we know, we're just doing paper plates and balloons and balloon weights, which is, not a car, not thousands of pounds.
Yeah,
it's about,
yeah,
if it's a lot, it's 10 pounds
yeah,
or 10, 20, 30 pounds. So
yeah.
the business is good. And right now is the time when, the really true workers, the passionate workers, the people who do it because they love what they're doing, they give an extra detail, they give an extra care for the final product they send out. That's the moment. This is a moment when all these people, all these balloon artists, all these party planners will probably do an extra step because first of all, the business is growing. And, sometimes because there's COVID, as many other things could happen, some people could, leave the business.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, not because of a fault that is intrinsic to the business, but maybe because, COVID can bring, negative consequences whatsoever. So,
Mm-hmm.
So my experience through this whole COVID was, I'd say, very peculiar, very singular, but overall, from a business point of view, and consider I say this, and I have not lost anyone that I know. So looking at just from a business perspective, interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
I don't want to say positive because I have a deep, profound respect of all the people who suffered for the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting aspects have been developed after this COVID.
So have you found then, you're saying you're busy, it's obviously quite positive for you now. So are you seeing the same patterns across lots of different countries? It's not just Italy and the UK. Obviously, you serve many, many countries. Are you seeing the same patterns across the world?
Well, initially, they were very different. And remember that COVID hit different countries at different times. Mm-hmm. So there was Italy, and then it was China, then Italy, then the rest of Europe, then gradually moved around Europe, went to East Europe, started going to the US, which was pretty big, and then went to Brazil, and now is very strong in India. Mm-hmm. So we've seen we've seen things that we can discuss of. So the first thing that we saw was obviously in Italy was completely blocked. The first country to be completely blocked. After not even China was completely blocked. Just the Hubei region was completely blocked in China. And we served our clients till the very last day, obviously, and till the very last day there was no COVID around the world except for Italy. So we served everyone, and people with and we were thinking, God, if we close now, and our people want balloons, what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. But as it turned out, when Italy closed, COVID was hitting already pretty badly in all the major countries, except for, at the time, Holland and Sweden, who went for a radical approach. Mm-hmm. So those were the last two countries to say. And when we reopened, obviously, what really helped us out was the strong countries. So Germany, the US, and the UK. Mm. And of course, the UK had a very strong, I think, you probably know this better than me, but a strong lockdown, because I know that many retail stores were closed, but the internet companies were still open. They were doing fairly well. The same thing I did not see in the poorer countries. Yeah, this was a trend, more or less. We can divide the countries into two, strong and a bit poorer, or maybe three categories with the very strong, and then the middle category where you would put Italy, probably France. I know the French wouldn't like to hear that, but so you have Germany, UK, US, and then you have France, Italy, and a few other countries, and then Spain, maybe Portugal, and then you have the Indias and Brazil and Peru and Argentina, which are in a very bad position. I saw that Peru has the highest number of deaths per 1,000 inhabitants. So the situation, I think, is pretty bad down there. Pretty bad down there. Yeah. And there's two other countries, China and Australia. Well, China is always a funny country, and Australia has been doing fairly well, let's say, fairly well. from my personal experience, I'd say that Australia is living a situation that could be similar. No, it's probably better than the UK. Much better than the UK. Actually,
All right.
I think. Well, they are lucky in a way. It's half of the inhabitants of the UK in a country that's probably 20 or 30 times the size.
Yeah,
So that helps.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of movement in Australia. So that's a good country. And as I said, for China, it's they continue.
But there have been quite a few countries then that have managed to, a bit like the UK, pivot and adapt and actually make a success out of this very, very bad situation. Not making it out of it, but adapting to it and continuing. Is that right to say? Would you say?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the UK, I mean, the UK is booming.
Yeah.
The UK, I mean, balloon-wise, party-wise, it's just, you like to party, guys. I mean,
yeah, we talked about it a few weeks ago actually, and put it down to something called the lipstick effect, which apparently happened in the war, and when people didn't have lots of money to spend on things, they still wanted to feel special, and so they buy luxuries, and lipstick obviously is a luxury, but it just made them feel that little bit more special. And so what might have been going out, I guess this is what's happened, rather than going out, hiring a venue, decorating a venue, and all of this during COVID, people have not spent that money and had some money to spend at home. So maybe, okay, rather than spending £30 on having our house decorated, let's spend £100 and have some amazing things created that we can have delivered. And I think that is probably what people have done. So it will be interesting to see how it goes from here, because I still think there's a lot of deliveries going on, a lot of safe collections, people going to shops shops have opened now, but I know even during lockdown some shops were closed, but they would still have a collection, so you'd put it outside the shop, lock the door, and the customer would come from their car and collect it. So they're using it as a workshop effectively more than as a shop. So yeah, I think it's interesting how this industry is able to adapt, and what we do in this industry, people were just able to change it from big decor to smaller deliveries and collections, and still remain alive, if you like.
It's a very interesting turn of events, because we have what happens now could be is that we have less big events but more small events, creating and increasing our working base. Probably, I mean, the things that a balloon artist could have to do today could be, and by evidence, it looks as if it is, as I'm saying. The business could be the business base could be even broader.
Yeah.
Instead of having big one events, you have a lot of small events.
Yeah.
Therefore, making the purchase easier for everyone, and therefore expanding our business. So it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. To me, it could be if it holds on the long run or medium run, it could be a very interesting turn of events.
Yeah, I think it's still challenging for people. We had Natalie Saunders down filming from the Balloon Room, and she was saying that she used to do corporate events, and you might have to deal with one or two corporate events, but she's managed to adapt and doing a lot more deliveries and collections. And she was saying it's great that she's managed to do this, but instead of talking to one or two people in a week, she might have to talk to 20 people in a week. So there's an increased workload there. There's more admin involved in getting those equivalent of the same sales, if in fact she was getting the same sales. But there might be work involved, but we can adapt. Everybody is self-employed. Everybody that has their own business knows what hard work is, no matter what size you are. If you're a sole trader working on your own out of the spare bedroom like we were when we started, or if you are a bigger company like yourself, there's work that needs to be done. And I think as long as you're willing to do that work, then yeah, people are do seem to be coming out of this very, very positively. What do you think the future holds? Oh, I didn't mention this. I meant to mention this at the beginning. But yeah, look, I've got my Grabo face mask that I've been wearing. Thank you so much for that.
You're a very handsome man. You're a very handsome man, but you look much better with that mask on. It just suits you perfectly.
I'm slightly offended at that, Jonathan, that I look better with this. So thank you for that. But yeah, thank you for that. You're not selling these, are you? You're just you gave us some of these, didn't you, when when lockdown happened and all of that. So
but we just we just gave away some masks. Just no, not selling them, obviously. Just giving them away with the box now and then. People needed masks, and we just gave them masks. So
no, they're great. Some of the guys in the warehouse absolutely love these, and they're wearing these opposed to some of the other ones that we've got. So thank you so much. Yeah, what I was saying was, what does the future hold? Where do you think we're going to be going? Where are you going to be going? As a business, and where do you think the industry is going?
Well, it's difficult to say right now. It's difficult to say because depends on which standpoint you used to look to look at the future. So if you say, let's say 6 months from now, I'd say I don't have a clue.
Okay.
I don't have a clue because the idea is in 6 months is just to continue doing whatever we've been doing for the past years now, and to continue. And we have no idea what's going to happen to COVID in the next 6 months. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be a vaccine or not? If we take a 2-year span or a 5-year span, as we did take here in Grabo, then this is just a bump in the road. Mm-hmm. Especially if you look at our 5-year plan, it's a bump in the road. And I mean this with no disrespect to anyone who's really suffered, obviously. We have been experiencing a 8-year period growth, to which we would like to then, in perspective, continue growing at least until 2024.
Okay.
And we have a dual approach, which is expansion and consolidation. So looking for new markets, creating new markets, both territorially and obviously deepening markets, and consolidating what we have done until now. And obviously by consolidating, this cold word, it just means, treating our clients like we always do. Mm-hmm. Making sure that they feel they have a reliable partner and continuing to be reliable. And, through our approach, through our quality of the balloons, mm-hmm. obviously, we are testing new balloons, new materials, new machineries, new shapes every day, practically every week.
Wow.
So we just continue doing what we've always done. This is to say, so how do you see the future? I see the future exactly like I saw it on the 14th of September 2019.
Okay.
Sorry, now the BMTV fan base knows exactly what we shot this episode.
It's all right. It's going out soon. Don't worry.
So nothing changes. Nothing changes because if you have a master plan, you just stick to the master plan. You chose the master plan. We chose the master plan together. And we just stick to that one. And business wise, thank God, because this wasn't a certainty in February that we were all here happy, and cheerful, and thinking, wow, we have a long bench problem instead of a short bench problem. If you're a football fan, it's just a bump in the road. Yeah. It's a tiny bump in the road. And by a long bench problem, you know what that means in the UK?
Explain to everybody.
Yeah, okay, because we're all as the man Winston Churchill said, Italy wins football games as if they were wars, and they lose wars as if they were football fans. So just to say that we are very strong football fans. So having a long bench problem is like Manchester City. Who do I put in the first 11? That guy has problems, but not real problems. Mm. And short bench problems is I don't have enough players, to make up an 11 player team. Yeah. So that's a short, long bench problems are nothing compared to short bench problems. So this is a problem, but obviously problems that we would like to have as Guardiola has.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know your football fans. I hope that, I found some football fans on the BMTV fan base.
There are some. I I like that. I think it's the whole, I hope your problems are good problems, and as much as the coronavirus is a big problem internationally for the whole world, like you say, if you can find some positivity in there, and that's something that I'm very passionate about, is trying to be positive. I've always believed that you get what you focus on. So if you focus on being positive, there is more positivity in your life. And if you focus on the negative, and I know some Facebook groups can be that catalyst for negativity, but also positivity as well. So I'm a big fan of that, and it's nice talking to you, and you've obviously got a very positive outlook on what the future is going to be. So that is nice. That is really, really good.
Oh. Never overestimate pessimism, because the pessimist is like the smoker in a group of friends. You all think they smoke, but in reality, it's one smoker smoking for everyone. Yeah. So that's pessimism for you. Don't forget the other 9 non-smokers are positive because one is smoking or one is being non-positive. It's physiological, but we must always remember that a wild situation is a situation where people who have good ideas and passion can do a good job. And this is a wild situation. It's what I was saying before. If you have the extra care, if you're a diligent artist, if you work with passion, if you take an extra 30 seconds or an extra minute to do a proper job, then you're okay. Yeah. You're okay. Nobody's going to touch you. You're just bound to do a better job. You're just bound to become stronger and richer, because the business is an expansion. And if you're working well in the business that is an expansion, boom, that's it. That's all you have to do. It's not as complicated as people think it is sometimes.
Do a good job is what you need to do, really. And I think somebody commented on one of the Facebook posts that I'd seen, and they just said, up your game, just be good, do what you do and do it better. If people are competing with you, then up your game. And I think that's key. Jonathan, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to talk to us. I really do appreciate it. It's a shame you can't be here, but I think this is probably the next best thing. I'd love to come. Yeah, but we'd love to have you here as well. But I think this is far better in the current situation. But
definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jonathan, and thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.